blah 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 blah. Eh, not that song you're thinking, because I don't want to get sued. It's not. Um, do cuckoo cachoo. Hey. Today we're going to be looking at two different varieties of Jelly Baby: Haribo and Bassett. But before we do that, let's stop and learn a little bit more about these two companies and what they do. Bassett's, originators of the Jelly Baby. They first put them out under the name Peace Baby. Now, if you've watched any classic Doctor Who, these are the ones Tom Baker is eating. And, well, I guess he's still eating them even to this day. On the flip side, we have Haribo, a worldwide leader in the gummy jelly market. They are also known as the creators of the gummy bear. Alright, folks. Now, none of this is scripted, so if I mutter or ramble a little bit, it's because I'm making this up as I go. Now, the first thing you're going to notice when you look at these two kinds is the size difference. We have Bassett's over here and Haribo over here. Pretty dynamic size difference. And another thing you're going to notice is the little bit of dusting, as it is known, on the Bassett's. Now, this is traditionally supposedly supposed to be part of a byproduct of the molding process, and they just leave it on. And apparently, with other kinds of generics, not Haribo's entirely generic, I guess, or off brands or stuff outside the UK, you will find them without that layer of dust, as it is known. But that's all well and good and fancy and ooh. One other thing is that Bassett's, they have different shapes. I mean, they're all kind of babies, obviously. And Haribo is all the same. But Bassett's used to be all uniformly shaped. But I believe it was in the 80s where they changed it just to add more character, I guess. But let's get to the main thing. How do they taste? Now, for those of you who don't know what a Jelly Baby is supposed to taste like, at least in terms of texture and consistency, it is not a gummy bear. Gummy bears are chewy the whole way. A Jelly Baby has a chewy outside and a jelly middle. Now, it isn't like jelly like jam. It's more of a kind of, when Jello just starts to set, it's kind of liquidy but still solid. It's not all the way Jello, you know what I mean? That's the sweet spot for a Jelly Baby. And how these two stack. Now, one of the main problems with the Haribo is its size. It's not a very good portion, which means, I mean, you might be getting exactly what you want in terms of texture, and the center might be gooey, but it's so small that you can't. You could throw handfuls of these in your mouth and just to get the same effect of like one Bassett's. Now, you see even how long it takes me to eat one Bassett's. And I wouldn't even think about throwing a bunch of these in my mouth. Hi, puppy. Thank you for bringing the shot. At one time, because it just wouldn't. They don't flow together the same, and they're kind of smaller, built to be taken on a individual basis. They're not throw in your mouth and just gnaw on them as a glob. But so I mean, there's way more to it. It's in terms of there's actual material, but this texture and portion aside, what's really interesting is that when it comes to flavor, Bassett's lose. As much, I don't hate Bassett's. I love Bassett's. I just sat there praising them for their size and texture. What I want is this flavor in this bag at this size. And these are flavorful, but it's more of a mellow, subtle fruit flavor. These little suckers are fruit explosions. I mean, maybe that's why they made them small, because they pack a lot of taste. I mean, strong fruit flavor. It hits you. You're like, wow. That should not be as substantial as that is. Thank you, puppy, for now munching on your food in the shot. Oh, shit. Let's see. Anything else? You can get both of these through the internet, and maybe you live in a big enough area where they actually sell these at stores. I don't, so you have to wait in the mail. But they're pretty easy to find. You can find them on Amazon or any kind of foreign food market thing. But which one am I ultimately going to recommend you get? I'm going to go with Bassett's. I love these. These taste fantastic. But they're so damn dinky. While these might not be the shots of flavor that I crave, it just feels right. The size, just the taste, and it's not about the dusting. Some people might say, oh, it's not dusted, it's not a traditional Jelly Baby. That's crap, I don't care. Dusting is the least of my interests. These have weight. These have concrete substance. These, make you think you're eating something more substantive, but you're not. You could eat this whole thing and probably still have a full meal. You take your time with these. You sit, you pull out one, and you eat it. And you might be doing something, but you stop and you enjoy it. These you just pop in your mouth and go. There's 3. No slowing down. It's just, and like I said, even though these kick the ever-loving crap out of them in pure flavor, just for sheer sit and satisfaction, we're going classic. So, that's all I get. And I'll quit before I make a bigger ass of myself than I have. Bye.